Looks like systems are firing.
Welcome in. We're in. We're live. Two episodes in. Can we consider this already an episode 2? Zach,
Yes.
Mac, myself. What's up? Belly up. How we doing today, Zach?
Dude, we're doing good. I had a little bit of I put on Twitter, had a little bit of a food poisoning scare at lunch today. I don't know if it's technically like I ate basically ham out of my fridge that was 15 days old. I don't know if that's considered food poisoning or me just being an idiot. I don't know.
Days old.
So immediately after I ate it, it felt terrible.
Well, that's no good. I feel like we always sit here and you're like, we always like chop it up before we get on here, and then like all of a sudden you're like, all right, you ready to go? And then boom, we're live, and I'm like, oh, okay, shit. So here we go. So rocking the Kansas City hat tonight. How are you feeling? You keeping any tabs? I haven't even. I literally just been scrolling through Facebook real quick.
Yeah. So before we get into it, let's let everyone know why we were off a week. How was Florida?
At this point I probably have COVID, but yes, no, I was in Florida. It was good. I do need a vacation from the vacation because we took our kids. So at this point I'm like drained, and literally the Sunday we came back, I got a cold. So if I sound like crap, that's why. But it was nice, go out there, little family vacation, spend some time with the kids, the family. So it was nice overall. Now we're back to the crap.
You didn't hustle any college kids in pool?
No, where we were at, it wasn't like really too
was the weather good?
Too touristy per se. So we were in Fort Myers and we went to Naples.
Was the weather good?
Yeah, it was, and it was nice because we usually go like early in the year, so it usually stays warmer. But obviously Florida, I mean, we were getting like 70s, 80s during the day, but it would cool off to like the 50s at night, which I loved. So it was perfect. So it was definitely well worth it. Nice little trip. First time the kids flew. They were good until, halfway through the trip, they were kind of beating on each other a little bit here and there. But other than that, couldn't ask for a better trip. So yeah, we're back now. That's why we missed last week. I said, Zach, you can run with it. And he's like, it's, I just can't do it without you.
I couldn't do it. I would have been sitting here like probably sleeping. I'll stream a 1-hour nap.
But anyway, so what did you do last week? I mean, anything special?
Dude, no, really. Scrambling to get Christmas shopping done, to be honest. And ran out of gift wrap a couple days ago. So that was a little panic stitch.
There you go.
Just had to go get some more. Dude, it's like the first year that I've actually like shopped and wrapped presents. Like, I mean, you got kids, so you've probably been doing it for a minute now.
I mean, I would like to say that I would do it, but literally I haven't wrapped the thing. My wife is all.
I was just gonna ask, dude, rate your wrapping skills. You got none?
I think I wrapped like one thing. She looked at me. It's kind of like the laundry. Like I folded one thing of laundry, and she's like looked at me, and she's like, "You're never gonna fold laundry again." And it's like I wrapped one present. She's like, "You're never gonna wrap a present again."
Dude, that's
and it wasn't like intentional. I guess I'm just a dude, so whatever.
Best strategy to get out of any chore is just be terrible.
Anyway, so obviously, we talked about this 2 weeks ago when we first came back. The previous year was kind of a loss in sports, so we kind of hit all the topics we possibly could that weren't sports related, essentially. So now we're in the thick of it. The NFL, we got the NCAA, we got Bryce Young winning Heisman, NHL, NBA. Everything's going on right now. We're in that kind of that area where every sport's pretty well hitting. So NFL, we talked about some potential Super Bowl picks. I know you got a KC hat on. KC's playing right now. Obviously, when this episode releases, it'll be over. But how you feeling? You still riding with your Super Bowl contenders? I know I'll come right out, and I'm gonna tell you right now. You gave me crap for saying Green Bay could be a lock, and they just keep ripping them off. And you know what? No more than they stay safe and out of the news, and nobody's talking about them. Aaron Rodgers has got to run his trap, and I think that's why people hate it, and that's why it's gonna drive me nuts. But how are you feeling about your picks,
dude? So I picked Cardinals. They got I thought they were a lock against the Rams, and that just didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. I'm gonna stick with it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous, but still like par for the course as far as the other guy. I mean, the Chiefs, they're up 10-0 as we speak after the first quarter. I still think the Cowboys got a shot. I still think the Bucks got a shot.
You can never count them out.
And I'm having the same paranoia that you're having about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. I'm having about New England and Bill Belichick. Like, it's starting to seem like they might like do something this year in the playoffs, and I that would annoy the shit out of me. It honestly would.
I mean, it's just like the teams we talk about outside of Arizona. I'm not even saying that's a feel-good story because as of recent, they've been successful. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury took over that team, and I saw actually a stat the other day. I think his record is still sub 500 or maybe a few games above 500 since he's been there.
Really?
You think at least this year, and obviously the past year they had some success, but that's a different team that you're not used to seeing in. But then all these other teams you're talking about, I mean, maybe Dallas, but you're still talking about the same damn teams. And then we look at New England, and is there that glimmer that they can actually do this again? I mean, literally, is outside of Mac Jones being a higher draft pick than Tom Brady, he's a tall, unathletic white guy that fits the mold. In like, are we talking about like? And nowhere near am I comparing those two, but like, are you kidding me? And I was on some other shows, and I even said this. People asked me who my potential MVP, my rookie of the year would be, and I said Mac Jones. This was before they played a snap. I said there's a great opportunity that he's essentially just going to slide into this. And I mean, look, this is what's happening. This is Belichick-esque.
Yeah, it literally is like almost copy and paste from Tom Brady, leading that offense, the Bill Belichick offense, to Mac Jones leading that offense, as far as just like the way the offense looks. Like you said, I mean, it's by no means are we comparing the two quarterbacks right now, but it all comes down to like is Mac Jones just a stellar learner in the locker room and in the film room? Like, if he is, like, I mean, maybe Belichick's just got a system that just pumps out like Hall of Fame quarterbacks like that. Like that could be the thing. Like, maybe like Tom Brady was the first, but what if Mac Jones just like slaughters all of Tom Brady's records, like out of nowhere?
That's
like,
what I mean. Like I said, outside of him being a higher draft pick, like the mold is there. I mean, granted, this is his rookie season. Tom Brady didn't play. That comparison's not there. Tom waited a while, but I mean, for this kid to come in, we knew he was great at Alabama. Whether you're an Alabama fan or whether you're Kevin Langley, there wasn't everybody that was going to say that he was going to make strides in the NFL. This isn't your Ohio State quarterbacks that Ohio State's got good college quarterbacks and they go to the NFL and they never translate. Alabama, there was just something about Mac Jones, and it was like a chip on the shoulder that he knew he was worth the pick, and he just not even kept falling, But excuse me, I just, not to get too far away. I mean, I know we're going on a tangent here about New England. We're talking about Super Bowl, but yeah, it's crazy to see these teams creep up. I'm still a very strong proponent. I would love to see Stafford have an opportunity. But that team I just saw today, they got 25 players, whether reserve or COVID or something like that. And then on another spectrum, obviously you saw the Browns. Browns are down to their third string quarterback. Their backup just got diagnosed with COVID today. So yeah, I mean, which kind of brings us to, the AFC North and AFC West. I mean, both still kind of up for grabs. Like, how are you feeling? I know we're kind of skipping right from Super Bowl to these two divisions here, but I mean, I feel like, is there a consensus in any of these divisions?
Dude, yeah, it's crazy. Like, the AFC as a whole, at least at the top, is up for grabs. So, and that kind of just what we were talking about the Patriots. If they win out and they get the 1 seed in the AFC, like, oh, it's actually kind of gross, the path that Mac Jones could be on. But anyways, back to your question. So the North, where you've got 8-5 in the lead, and I think 6-1 at the bottom. So there's you got, what is that technically, like 2.5 game difference, and then the AFC West. I mean, Chiefs and Chargers are playing tonight, so if the Chargers win that, then that's up for grabs. Dude, I'll put this on Twitter the other day. I'm drooling over the NFL standings right now because it's literally, aside from like the 4 or 5 teams that are already eliminated from contention, and then like the handful of others that, you know, have an outside shot, it's pretty much anyone's ball game this year.
Yeah.
Especially with all these guys going on COVID protocol, like we have no idea what's going to happen.
Dude, this week has been like all of a sudden the NFL waited for fantasy football playoffs to start.
Yeah, dude. That's what's pissing me off the most, to be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Roster.
I mean, you know, in past years, I felt like obviously we've always talked about, you know, New England. We continue to talk about that. Obviously, last year it transitioned to Tampa Bay in the NFC, but I feel like the AFC has always kind of been a powerhouse. But it's hard to believe there's 2 divisions at this point. Nobody knows really what's going to happen. And we talked about Mac Jones. We talked about that. But like, dude, is this literally? We keep talking about it. Is this literally playing out to be the easiest walk in the park for a rookie quarterback, a guru of a head coach? You know that. I mean, at this point, is New England going to sneak up on you and surprise you, or do you have to look at New England and be like, you know, this is for real?
Dude, it's all based in paranoia. I mean, look at the Packers are tied for the top seed in the NFC. Patriots tied for the top seed in the AFC. It is literally going to be our worst nightmare if these 2 teams just went out down the stretch. Like
even when you think you can get new teams sprinkled in there to add a little diversity into it, nope. It just, life hits you, smacks you in the face. Aaron Rodgers talks his crap, continues to annoy the media, walks into the playoffs, which we all knew, God forbid, that division was – Minnesota pissed that division away. You know, and I don't know why we're even considering – why does Chicago have 2 primetime games back-to-back, essentially?
Yeah,
at this point.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Maybe they're talking about – maybe you wanted to showcase Fields and stuff like that, but I know the division, but you can flex games. I know this week starts the Saturday night games and stuff like that. But we can transition that whatever you want. But either way, that division has always been garbage. I feel like Green Bay, it's a walk in the park for them. And then they get to the playoffs, the number 1 seed, so they just kind of sit on it. You know, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of been that way since really Brett Favre was the quarterback. Like the beginning of it, like it's that dynasty's just been going on for so long. And the thing is, like, the standings are so tight, and they're going to stay so tight, probably, that, like, we're making up worst-case scenarios, and it's because we're paranoid, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate being paranoid. But, yeah, dude, the Bears, back-to-back prime, I don't get that, dude. And it annoys me because I'm a Lions fan, and also you brought up the Vikings. I'm just bouncing all over in this division. The Vikings pissed that division away, like you said, and threw away so many games. Like, I think it sucks being a Lions fan, but it's got to be harder to be a Vikings fan. Like, you had you should have been winning games.
Well, that's funny you bring that up. And if anybody watches the show, we always have our Detroit roots. We're very open to that. We're okay with that, but we're also not the Detroit slappies that most people are. But going back to that, okay, so Kirk Cousins was given a $98 million contract or whatever. People gasped at that. They said, "Oh my God," you know. But and we're talking about Minnesota pissing it away, so that kind of goes back on him. But actuality of the things, that $98 million contract, or again whatever it was, is probably huge savings for a little. You know, I guess. That's essentially the second best quarterback in that division. We're talking about the Lions, who. Obviously, we traded away Stafford for Goff. We wanted Goff to be the next, you know, kind of plug-in. You know, I would give – granted, the Lions are nowhere near where we need to be with a team around like Minnesota, but I would – at this point, probably 2 years ago, I was saying Kirk Cousins, that was the dumbest thing in the world. But now at this point, I'm thinking to myself, like, that's a quarterback that I take on my team.
Yeah. Dude, I'm in the camp that I don't think Kirk Cousins is a problem. in Minnesota. I saw a thing, and someone's probably going to fact check me on this, but I think it was a couple weeks ago that was like, if Minnesota hadn't allowed any points in the last 2 minutes of a half.
No, I did see that. I think
they'd be undefeated or some shit like that.
3 or 4 losses by 1 point this year or something like that. And yeah, it was all within exponential amount of time.
It's like their 2-minute defense or their 4-minute defense or whatever. They can't.
Which you would think we were talking about Detroit right now, but either way, yeah, Bears back-to-back primetime. Yeah, that division has always been garbage. Green Bay, they reap the rewards on that. They walk through it, which kind of gets into other things. We've all watched the primetime games, which, I mean, anytime you turn on a game Sunday, even Thursday night, you continue to hear about the refs this year and the casualties, the instances where they just blatantly blow things. And then you have the NFLPA eventually, the NFL, come back and say, yeah, we missed this call. We should have done this. But at this point, that's fine. That's like me saying at work, you know what? That was a huge screw up. We should have fixed it, but I'm just telling you it was a huge screw up and nothing's going to happen about it. The refs have been awful this year. Is there something that maybe sticks in your mind or recently that you just looked at and you're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude, I can't remember why. I was watching, I can't remember what game it was, but I put this on the itinerary because I wanted to talk about how just, I don't know if I want to say piss poor, but it's just, dude, it's like, at times it looks like they're rigging games. Like, and this is me, like, I'm not talking about the Lions game. The Broncos-Lions game I didn't even watch, so. This was, I want to say it was the Browns-Ravens game that I was watching. It may have been even the Rams-Cardinals game. But they were – I cannot for the life of me remember the specifics. But, dude, it was just terrible. And I was like, it's been like this. Like, I don't know how these guys are held accountable. Like, I get they're graded and, like, the best ones get to go to the Super Bowl. But, like, I want to know – I probably could look it up. I'm just lazy, but I want to know the incentive. Like, what is it even worth? Like, some guys probably like, I don't want to work in the postseason. Like, I want to hang out with my family or some shit. The money I make during the regular season's enough, and they're rigging games. And
yeah,
dude,
it's
so bad.
It's definitely. I mean, you hear it every year, and then we have that year of like the what were the like the replacement refs for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely something that I wouldn't want to do, even at like a lower level. You see parents like get on refs and stuff like that. And granted, in the NFL, I mean, I'm sure these dudes are getting paid, 6 figures, so they're making money. They're not going to essentially have the fans coming down on them right in the stadium. But I mean, you're talking the publicity. Some of these guys, not this year, but I mean, even in past, I know that they've had death threats. You go back years and years and years, like the NBA when what was that, Donahue or whatever his name was like, I mean, that's a little different, but I mean, this is very real. And then, for years and years.
I mean,
and years,
Donahue was just the one that got caught. Like, I mean, for every one that gets caught, there's 5 that don't get caught.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then the NFL has said, oh, we're staying far, far away from the gambling scene. And then what do they say for next year? Where's the Super Bowl going to be? Or no, 2024, where's the Super Bowl going to be? In Las Vegas, baby. I think they realize this is the way the league's forming. And honestly, not to be stupid or go on a tangent, like gambling and marijuana are going to be like the 2 things that essentially propel probably the economy for like the next 10 years with the path that we're going on right now. And those things kind of go hand in hand. Excuse me. When you're talking out on the West Coast and you're looking at a Super Bowl in 2024 in Las Vegas. So it's kind of funny how you see, I mean, you always see the NFL kind of evolve even after they say, oh, we're not going to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like college football,
Yeah.
We talked about who our picks were going to be and, could these teams slide in? And it's all about the money makers. And not to, we'll talk about that again, but we'll talk about college football. But it's just crazy. But talking about NFL refs that suck, in transitioning to another sucky person is and I'll tell you, I loved Urban Meyer at Ohio State. Loved what he did. I know there was those issues with Zach and stuff like that.
Out of the way because I was going to ask you if you're an Urban Meyer fan.
What's that?
I'm so glad you got that out of the way. I was going to ask you if you were an Urban Meyer fan.
But I'm going to tell you right now, could you – I tweeted this last night. Like, Urban Meyer literally watched every college football coach that went to the NFL and, like, failed miserably. And he said, here, hold my beer. And just went to the NFL in 13 games, completely diminished anything he ever did. And now, obviously, this is speculation. This is very early. I could never see this happening. But with the Ryan Day links to Chicago, now obviously people saying, Urban Meyer could go back to Ohio State. That's all hearsay. I never see that happen. But, like, I think this right here, everything that's coming out, this ruins everything about the guy from the college level to the 13 games he had in the pro. And I don't think he'll ever get a gig outside of maybe TV.
I forgot he did that little stint in TV. That was like
with Fox and stuff like that.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, dude. The craziest thing to me is that like this report where he kicks the kicker, and like I don't know how accurate this guy's description is. Like he said he was doing like a lunge stretch or something. The guy and Urban Meyer came up and like kicked him and was like, "Hey, make your goddamn kicks" or some shit like that. I don't know.
He's like, I'm the head ball coach. I can do what the fuck I want.
Like, I kick whatever,
like,
dude.
I feel like this is like so movie-esque. I feel like there's got to be some kind of Netflix documentary that's going to come out and just like depict this dude's life and how crazy it absolutely is.
Dude, because I fell asleep at a hotel in St. Louis one time with I was watching some Memphis football game. I think this was after Thanksgiving, a couple days after Thanksgiving this year. So not too long ago, fell asleep to the Memphis football game, which it gets over. And there's this documentary about college football coaches, like the old days, like Newt Rockne and then they bring on modern day coaches who are talking about like the way they coached back in the day. And so of course, Urban Meyer is one of them on there. And he's like, because they were talking about how rough they were with the players. Like they were like,
well, yeah, the coaches would like punch the players and stuff.
Yeah. Like how Woody Hayes got
so he's probably
fired
trying
for, like,
to
punching the guy in the face. Yeah. So, but Urban Meyer's comment was, you just want to bring out the best in people, and obviously that's what those guys are trying to do. But you can't coach that way anymore these days. Okay, so that's what he said. And then this report comes out that he's like, still to this day kicking players. I'm like, bro, you on the documentary you just said you couldn't do that, and like now you're out here doing like. Also, it's ironic that he kicked the kicker, dude. I want to know how far he could punt the punter.
The stuff that just keeps getting, and then I heard like something today that said like he literally made a comment to his coaching staff, which he handpicked, and he said that I had a better coaching staff at Bowling Green. Like you guys are all miserable. Like
yeah, he called them losers, didn't he?
Dude, I was a huge Urban supporter. Loved him at Ohio State. Loved what he did. Great for the program. I loved how Ryan Day took over. Urban kind of sailed off in the sunset. Fox went to the NFL. I was like, he may not succeed. He's going to look bad. Maybe tarnish his legacy a little bit. Dude, I didn't think he was going to destroy his goddamn legacy. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know if there's another coach that could do this. Like, I mean, I'm ashamed. It's like I'm ashamed to be a Lions fan. I'm ashamed that I was an Urban fan at this point. Dude, it's bad. Like
I feel like he overestimated the culture. Like he was like, this is all going to stay in-house.
Outside looking in as a Michigan State fan, you hated Ohio State. You probably hated Urban Meyer. Is this like the cherry on top?
Yeah, well, I didn't like Urban Meyer when he's at Florida either. I hated Florida, so when he went to Ohio State, it was like he just made it easier and easier to hate the guy.
You did not like him?
Yeah, but I mean, I like the Jaguars though. Like I've always like, for really no reason. Like if I'm being honest with myself, like their colors are cool, and I feel bad for them because I'm a Lions fan, so I can relate. And they've had so many losing seasons, and they had that one random, whatever it was, 10-6. I don't know.
That's the best thing about our show, because I was thinking about this earlier. Like, the national media is they don't take sides. You got Stephen A. Smith and all the other talking heads that like Cowboys, and they want to talk about their one team. I get it. Like, we're very opinionated for our team. Again, we continue to talk about it, but we just can pretty much say, oh yeah, we like this team, we don't like this team, we follow this team. That's what I think is different about you and I, as opposed to, and granted, we're not on the national stage, but that's what I think I enjoy about talking to you, is because we do have our favorite teams, but there's also a few other teams.
How do you feel about the Jaguars?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you were that was your number one team. So no. but in general, it's just, NFL aside, this year has been crazy. It seems like it's going to end in another crazier fashion based off of what happens with the AFC, the NFC in general. A game going on tonight.
Let's get another score update before we transition out of the NFL.
What's that?
Let's get another score update. It's 10-7 Chiefs with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Okay. I need the points because I got a little fantasy going on here. So, but anyway, so getting into the next group of the NFL players, we're talking about NCAA. Bryce Young won the Heisman. Obviously, we got some conference championships coming up. We got some bowl picks starting tomorrow night, the 17th through the 23rd. Bryce Young winning the Heisman, was that a surprise to you? Did you figure that was going to happen, especially after their championship?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, it was after that Georgia game. It was I thought, just pretty much sealed. I saw it like,
obviously, I think that's what hurt Stroud, and that's what gave Bryce Young the win.
And Aiden Hutchinson finished second, I think.
Yeah, and he had a great game against Ohio State, great game, so.
Yeah, like, I mean, no disrespect to him. He had a good season, but really only like popped off at the very end. It's like the Heisman is almost just becoming like because you have you always have rivalry week and then you have championship week. So it's like most teams have back-to-back big games. At least Heisman.
And the bad thing, so national spotlight, so that definitely helps. But Aiden Hutchinson, the bad thing with him is, and I don't mean a bad thing on his part because it had nothing to do with him, is the dude didn't even win Defensive Player of the Year. They gave it to Georgia, in which Aiden Hutchinson was way better, had better stats and everything. Obviously, maybe, outside of the loss to Alabama, Georgia was in the spotlight.
Who got it? That number 99 guy for Georgia?
Yeah, from Georgia.
He's a D-line, though. Inside D-line, right?
Yeah, that's how much it shows. But like you said, you got, you had all these games. Bryce Young wins the Heisman, rightfully so. I mean, he had. That game solidified it, cemented it. And that's why I said, as soon as that game was over, I said, "Oh, he won." I said that was a great showing. That's exactly what he needed, against a team like that.
Yo, was that show in the morning? The Heisman, like.
No. It was me.
Okay. I must have just missed. I had no idea when it was on, dude. Like I literally, my girlfriend's dad picked us up for lunch, and he was like, "Did you guys see that Heisman?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like,
"It was like the next day."
Yeah, he just won it, and I was like, I didn't even know what was going on. Like, I thought they did that shit like closer to the
obviously we're getting into recap, obviously, the conference championship. So that's what we said. Bryce Young kind of solidified it there.
Did that surprise you how bad Alabama beat Georgia?
I don't know necessarily that it surprised me because that's so Bama-esque.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, and we talked about, the best matchup, which you and I talked about 2 weeks ago. It was Georgia, Michigan. We said, I thought it would have been a better game. I thought Georgia's quarterback played like crap. But I thought that would have been a better game. Georgia would have squeaked out, but it's very Bama-esque to do that. And I thought Michigan was the only team that could go into Georgia or play Georgia and essentially dominate the clock with that running game and really stick it to them, which we'll be able to see, obviously, coming up. So that's what's exciting. But what is really exciting for me, and I know I'm kind of skipping away from the conference championship is, obviously, I'm sorry, let me retrack here. Michigan is not with Georgia, so Michigan and Cincinnati. Let me rephrase myself because I'm getting too far ahead of myself.
Wait. Michigan plays Georgia.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
You were right, bro. Yeah, they're two. I think they're 2 and 3. Yeah. Michigan's 2 and Georgia's 2.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. God, man, I'm all over the place. It's cold. I should have taken Sudafed before I got on here, but whatever. I'm robo-ing.
Fucking Sudafed.
Anyways, so yes, no, I'm sorry. Thank you. don't ever watch this show. Anyways, so Michigan and Georgia, we talked about that. That's the matchup we want to see.
Yeah.
I really think Michigan has a great opportunity to beat Georgia. And then how crazy would it be? Which do you think? Let me ask you: do you think Cincinnati has a shot in hell against Alabama?
No.
So okay, either do I.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Either do I. But this is what I'm thinking. How great would it be to see Michigan, Cincinnati, in a national championship? Michigan beats Ohio State, and of course, the other Ohio boys, the little guys, knock off Michigan for a national championship.
Bro, that would be insane. If even
for you,
either way, even if it's just Michigan, Cincinnati,
oh yeah, I mean that would. Yes.
And if that happens, you know how many hater tweets there's going to be about ratings and what this is for college football. Like, dude, if I'm going to be honest with you, and I put this on Twitter, I think the 4 best teams after everything that unfolded last couple weeks this season and conference championships, the 4 best teams I thought were Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State. So I think if you're being like, I don't know. If I'm on the committee, that's the 4 I'm putting in. So I don't think Cincinnati has a shot. I mean, I think they deserve their chance to be there. And yes, that's why I'm torn on it because I mean, I just don't think that they're going to. I don't know if is there an incentive to run up the clock on them and make a statement like. I'm trying to put myself in Saban's shoes here. If you go up quick, right? You go up 14-0. Let's say you go down, you score a touchdown, then you get a pick 6 right away, and you're up 14-0. Do you just pound your foot on the pedal and go and just beat them 52-3 and tell the committee never put a team like this in here again?
That Saban's ever just kind of you're talking to the epitome of John Cooper used to do this for the Buckeyes. We would literally do that. We'd get up 21-0, and then we coast. And then all of a sudden at the end of the game, you're looking at 35-28.
Yeah.
And it's and I don't necessarily think that that he does that, Saban. And by no means is he an arrogant coach. I think he's a great coach and he's great for football, even with how successful he is. We talk about the Patriots and how annoying it is. Same thing with Alabama. But he's one of those guys that, and then that's what I love. Football is about, there's sportsmanship, and I get it. But if you're the better team, let your boys eat. Even if you're going to put the second team out there and they're still running, dude, let them do their thing. Don't take the foot off the pedal because that's why you recruit. That's why you put the time in. That's why you have these recruiting classes. I'm sure Deion Sanders, if he has the opportunity, he ain't ever going to take his foot off the pedal. We're talking about National Signing Day, flipping some guys. But
that was crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see it. I think if they get up early, I mean, Cincinnati has to come out and they have to score in the first drive, set the tone. If not, I don't know. I mean, yes, I think it's cool. I think the committee finally gives that. I wouldn't even say Cincinnati is a smaller team, but one of those teams that you're not used to seeing essentially in there, the opportunity. But this is exactly what happens when one of those teams squeak in. Can they play with the big boys? We'll see what happens. If they don't, then biggest thing, if Cincinnati doesn't come out of the gate swinging and they lay an egg, it's going to hurt every other team that is Cincinnati's size or whether they, a team like Cincinnati goes 12-0 again, and you got a 2-loss Ohio State, or, as long as there's conference championship stuff like that, it's just going to hurt those teams to say, yeah, they're undefeated, but they don't belong in this game with the big boys.
Yeah, it's interesting that because I agree with you, but it's interesting that we think that because the very first college football playoff, which I don't remember how long ago that was at this point. I want to say 2014, but it might have been.
Buckeyes.
Yeah. Or okay, so maybe it was a year or 2 in where Michigan State went when they won the Big Ten, and then they lost to Alabama.
Penn State or something like that. Yeah.
48-0 or 48. I think they scored 48-7, 49-7, some shit like that. Anyways, it was a blowout, and so we say that about Cincinnati, but then also Michigan State got blown out when they went the first time, and they were either 12-0 or 11-1 or something. They were, so, and they still to this day respect the Big Ten champion. So, and they'll always put the Big Ten champion in there, I think. So it's like
yeah,
it's kind of a double standard, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I definitely understand, but that's the knock on Notre Dame too. Notre Dame hurts themselves. They've got the lucrative TV deal by themselves. They don't want to join a conference, so they don't have a conference championship, and that's what screws them every year. I don't care if you're a Notre Dame fan and your team's undefeated. Like, I get it. That's what the NCAA is about. It's about money.
I don't mind that. If you want respect, join a conference. Play hard teams.
That's what I'm saying. It's about money. So you can be the best team, you can be undefeated, but if you're not in a conference championship, they really don't care about you, and it shows. And that's making it easy on the committee for them to count you out.
Yeah,
I feel like every year going into the final picks, we're like, oh my god, 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 3, and 4 can lose. What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, like the world aligns and 2, 3, and 4 win, and it's just a walk in the park for the committee.
And the thing about Notre Dame is that the committee they wanted to like them, and that goes back to the Cincinnati, right? Because so Notre Dame got a couple shots at the college playoff, and they shit the bed. Have they been there a couple times, or is it just once?
Just once.
Just once. Okay, so they got their shot, and they got embarrassed.
Or I don't know who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the committee was like, "Yeah, okay, no, like you got to go undefeated with a couple key wins, or we're not going to consider you." And Cincinnati's in the same boat, almost the same exact boat. You got it. Here's your shot. Here's your one shot. Like UCF crawled so that you guys could walk. Now here you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and here's your shot. If you lose 41-7, you're never coming back ever, until it's an 8-team playoff, which will probably happen eventually.
But anyways, enough with college football, enough with the NFL, NHL, NBA. Obviously, we'll get into the NBA. Curry sets 3-point record. We were in Florida. I think the game where he was like 16 away, and they were like, "Is he going to do it?" Like, there ain't no way in hell he's going to hit 16. I know.
It took him like 3 more games.
Yeah, and so and then we get back to Ohio, and I'm like, this dude's still trucking away at it, and he hits it in New York. Is he? I'm not a huge NBA guy. I know you're not a huge NBA guy, but would you consider, based off your upbringing, the little bit that you watch, would you consider him the best pure shooter in the NBA that you've ever seen or that you know about?
Yeah. Yes. I think, to be honest, I don't think everybody has to agree that he's the best pure shooter, because there's been some good pure shooters out there. Like,
yeah,
because Steph can also drive the lane and he can create plays. And there were guys like Kyle Korver, who was just a great pure shooter, and JJ Redick, and so you can always argue if he is the best pure shooter. I would say he is, but I could accept people who say he's not. What I think is ignorant is if you don't think that if somebody believes that Steph didn't have an impact on the game, because he absolutely changed the NBA. And if anybody wants to deny that or argue that, I just think you're ignorant. Like, it's what he's done is insane. Like the plays, like he has a highlight reel. He has done off balance fadeaway 3-pointers from a ridiculous range, and he's done it like 30 times. And other guys can put a highlight reel together of like 2 or 3. Like, I mean, people like Trae Young and James Harden will hit far shots, but they won't hit them contested on the run, heat check with still 19 seconds left on the shot clock.
I'd say, and I think Curry shoots like he has a better percentage from half court than like actual 3-point is like normal 3-point percentage. Like, it's just like it's almost automatic from from half court. It's crazy, but absolutely he definitely changed the game. I mean, obviously it's been years ago that they put in the 3-point line. You had Ray Allen, obviously. I mean, all these great shooters, Reggie. Why the hell can't I think of his last name right now, dude? Reggie Miller. Yeah, geez, God.
He only goes by Reggie, so I mean,
I'd say Reggie, but I'm a Pistons fan, so I don't like to say his last name. But anyways, it's just hard to believe. He definitely changed the game. But it just kind of, I mean, it opens up the door to other things. You go back to the 80s basketball, you had the bad boys of the Pistons. And yes, we'll always throw in our Detroit remarks. You had Rodman with the Pistons, and then you got the Bulls, and everyone compares, obviously the comparisons always going to be Jordan, LeBron, how it works. But everyone says, they can't play, they don't play the way they did in the 80s. These guys can't drive the lane. But Steph would, I would think in the 80s, Steph would actually be further, more advanced because he's just stroking it from outside where he's not driving the lane where these dudes are just going to blast you. I think that's what you said, like changing the game. Like there's, they're always going to link Jordan and LeBron, but like, I mean, you really want to talk about like Jordan and somebody, you want to maybe talk about Jordan and Steph because his game is totally different where, LeBron's obviously going to be able to hit some threes, but nowhere near like this kid. And it's just unbelievable what he does. And, he's still going to be around. I mean, I saw a stat the other day, like he can really just pretty much blow any mark out of the water if he played until he was like 8 years old on kind of like the mark he was on right now. And it was just going to blow it out of the water. So it's crazy. Just to see, I tune in, like I said, NBA, not a huge watcher since the 2004 Pistons, but it's nice to see something like that because it's a guy you want to root for. He is like LeBron. He's never in the news for anything negative. I mean, he's got a few dick pics out there, but whatever. But I mean, no big deal. But
I mean, that's so impressive, and that's just why I just like
yes.
Because LeBron James he's the king. Okay, to me, he's the GOAT, and he changed to me athleticism or how you can sustainability, I guess, how you can stay fit for a long time, but he didn't change the game. Like he almost LeBron almost combined before him Kevin Garnett with Shaq. Basically, was like Kevin Garnett was tall, but he wasn't very strong. I mean,
athletic, but the power,
crazy baller. But Shaq super strong, athletic for his size, but not the guy who's going to run a 4.2 40. So and so LeBron kind of epitomized the athlete, but Steph like literally changed how the game was played. Like now you got James Harden going 1 for 17 in basketball games because he thinks he could be Steph Curry.
Yes. Which, speaking of Harden, his old counterpart, Kyrie, could he possibly be coming back
I
soon?
saw a report that he was like warming up to the idea of coming back.
I mean, if you talk about like, and I mean this, like, I don't know what these athletes are thinking. They're making millions of dollars. This could be publicity. It could be not. And I don't know if they've got their bell rung. That's fine. And I'm not trying to justify it, but you talk about head cases. You talk about Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. You talk about Kyrie in the NBA. And, we go back to when he was talking about, the earth is flat. And then he came out and said, oh, no, I was just playing with you. Like, these people almost, it's almost like they bait you. They know what they're doing. Kyrie, like, okay, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game you love. I get it. You don't want to get vaccinated. That's totally fine. Obviously, the rules in Brooklyn are, it's not in his favor. So, I mean, I don't even know what it worked out to be, fines or whatnot, or how it's working. I haven't even followed it because I haven't cared. But like, I mean, it's almost like some of these guys are just like, yeah, I can work the system like Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna sit out all camp. I'm gonna demand a trade or do this, and I'm gonna slide right in. And these guys are athletes. They're constantly playing. I'm sure Kyrie's not sitting at home eating a bag of potato chips.
Right.
I'm sure he's constantly staying in tune. He's going to go out there. He'll be able to play. But do you think he comes back? Do you think he contributes? I saw Kevin Durant the other night had a 50-point triple-double with absolutely nobody on the team. And it's just, I mean, you thought this big three was going to be like the next big three, not you per se, but in general, the national media. And Kyrie, Harden, and KD have played 15 games together in like 2 years. I mean, it's something ridiculous.
I mean, I never thought that three was ever gonna work as a three.
Well,
I still don't
kind of
think,
like Russ in LA.
Yeah, I still don't think that'll work. But I think, like, honestly, I think Kyrie's kind of a troll. Like at heart.
Yeah.
Like he knows, like, because this, especially with the flat Earth stuff, and not so much the staying out of basketball because I'm sure that all is like that's his business, that's his job. So I'm sure there's a lot more calculations that go into that. But as far as feeding into the media, like he knows people are gonna like. There's no reason for us to care what Kyrie thinks the shape of the Earth is. Like there's absolutely no reason. Like he's not a renowned scientist. Like why do we care what his opinion is? But he knows that simple-minded people are going to suck on whatever he says, so he's just going to keep saying it. Like until his time's up, he's going to do it. Like because he's a troll, I think, at heart, and that's why he does all these antics, and that's why he loves being.
Oh yeah, and that's why a lot of them do it. They want a reaction. But yeah, I mean, cool if he comes back. Great. Again, it has nothing to. I could care less if you get vaccinated or not. I mean that's fine. You have your beliefs, whatever. But transitioning to your Grizz. At this point, what are they currently top 4 in the West?
Dude, they're killing it. And Ja's been out for a while, so
I know. So you get him back. Yeah, that's a young team. I mean, obviously, again, we talk about NBA. We're not huge followers, but I mean, obviously, I'm sure you tune in here and there. You got expectations for them this year,
dude. I mean, here's the thing: they're the opposite. They're literally the opposite of what we were just talking about. They're a very selfless team. Nobody cares about their ego on that team. Everybody just wants to win basketball games, and I think that's going to bring them far. I think it's going to. I don't think at some point you need talent to beat like the Lakers and the Clippers of the NBA, of course, just because of the way that the NBA is set up. But I think as far as like playing as a team, and then identifying, who they're, Ja Morant at some point has got to. See, I don't even know. I can't even say that he's got to because like they're just been climbing. I think I can't remember. They were in the play-in round last year, and I can't remember if they won it or not. I think no, they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, it's like all blur.
For the 8 seed. Anyways, they were a bubble team, like 9. I think they finished 9 or 10, and now they're top 4. Obviously, early in the season, but I think I just think the way they play is like if you're. And I'm not even like a pure basketball fan, right? But if you like the sport, if you like watching strategy, like watching competition and passion, like I think it's such a fun team to watch.
Yeah, it's a good group, and I'm scrolling through the timeline right now, looking at different things, and I'm thinking to myself,
I think the Suns are like this. The Suns are like the Grizzlies on steroids. Like the Suns are an extremely fun team to watch too. If you like team basketball, and they're killing it. They're like 21. And last time I checked, they were like 21-4 or some crazy record like that. And
absolutely,
they won I saw they were on a crazy win streak too at some point this season.
Yes, I know. And that's the thing. And they're another kind of young team. Obviously, Chris Paul's there, but yeah, they're fun to watch. Excuse me. And they were fun, obviously, last year. But before we get into our last topic, 2 weeks ago, one of your rants were, watching McDavid.
We're talking about the Oilers. You're making me eat my words right now.
Since that, I mean, we're about 2 weeks removed, and about 5 days ago, I think since you said that, they were about 0-5.
They still haven't won a game. They're 0-6.
Have they turned around since?
No, they're 0-6. What's that? They're 0-6 now. So they still haven't won since I said that. They play tonight. I'm trying to pull it up real quick because I was. Yeah, okay, so they're up 3-0 at the end of the first right now. So I think they got.
So that's why I'm scrolling through my phone right now and recapping everything. And that was one of the things. If you go to our Twitter page, What's Up Belly Up, Zach will cut or actually tell you the truth. Zach started it, and now we got a producer, so that's kind of cool. So our producer's been cutting those up.
Shout out producer Malia. She's been killing it.
I was just say, you want to talk? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's nice. Got on staff. This is an ever-growing company. What's Up Belly Up here? Which, and again, before we get into our next thing, I mean, a little chance that there's some merch on the horizon.
Dude, that's what I've been hearing. So
she makes this happen.
There's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of whispers, a lot of things people want to be putting on shirts and stuff and selling.
When we get to the office, there's a lot of things that go on. We just kind of. We sit in our Eiffel Tower and whatever. We just collect.
Yeah.
But Anyways, to keep it with Hoffy, Jesus, dude, I'm telling you what, I'm not even drunk. I'm not even anything. I'm just so like, I got a cold and a head cold, and I
Dude,
feel
I
like
think
I'm so
I speak for everybody on behalf of all of our listeners and viewers and say that we respect the fact that you showed up today because you sound like you need an IV or
I couldn't let the people down. I can only imagine. Like right now,
Look
okay,
at
cool.
you.
The people that are watching live, like, all right, they get it. But like when you're turning this on the podcast, people will probably never tune in again. So it's probably a bad idea. But anyways, so Trevor, I think I'm pronouncing this right. Is it Trevor Zegras?
Oh, it was a good guess. Zegras is how it is.
Zegras. Okay.
Now, I
So
had to
Michigan
ask you,
style.
did you see this pass?
No, I didn't. I heard about it. So if you want to enlighten the people.
Okay. So are you aware of the Michigan goal? Do you know what the Michigan goal is?
Yes.
So it's like you flip it on your stick from behind the net and you okay. So he was behind the net and he flipped it on his stick and then but just kind of like threw it over the net, right? So from behind the net, threw it in the front of the net, and it was midair, and his teammate bats it out of midair into the net. Okay. So baseball on skates is essentially, if you can picture that, that's what it was. But over the net, threw it over the net. Goalie was like, "What the hell?" It went viral. People were like puking over this shit. They're like, "Oh my god, I've like naming my firstborn Trevor. I'll name my firstborn Trevor Zegras. I'll name him the full name. His first name is Trevor Zegras." Because people are like, nobody's ever done this before. And which I get. And I respect him for it. Smart play. You get a goal out of it. Obviously great. But I don't like it for a number of reasons. Not to say I don't like it. It's just I don't think it's viral worthy. Because, as you know, I don't like baseball. I'm a huge disliker of baseball.
I was literally just going to say, because of it, in hockey, it's a huge a huge thing.
Yeah.
But in baseball, I mean, is it really that hard?
Dude, yeah. So it's not that okay. Okay. Let me say this. I'm glad you brought that up. This was much harder to hit than a baseball was. Okay. And let me tell you why. Because a baseball, you know where it's coming. Every single pitch. You know the direction. This guy had no idea. This was not scripted. This play was not scripted. Apparently, he told him, the guy in front yelled Michigan during the live play. And so he basically was telling Zegras, who was behind the net because he had nobody on him, do the Michigan goal real quick. You got time, flip it on your stick, throw it around the goalies. Okay. But when he heard Michigan, what he did was he flipped it on a stick and then tossed the puck over.
Dump it.
Guy was not expecting that. Okay, that's much harder to hit. When you're not expecting that to come, that's like you standing at the plate, at home plate, for 2 minutes, and you have no idea during that 2 minutes when the ball is going to come, but also you get no wind up to know when the ball is going to come. Okay, so that's what it's like. Okay, anyways, it's not 90 miles an hour, but anyways, you get it. The second reason I don't like it is because it's just not as impressive as a Michigan goal. Like 100, probably 1,000 NHL players have assisted a goal from behind the net, but there's only a handful that have scored from behind the net. So give me the Michigan goal over the Michigan assist any day. Good for him. It went viral. He got his moment. He's a good rookie. I also am kind of jaded because he is the only guy competing right now with the 2 Red Wings rookies for Rookie of the Year. So that might have been his like Rookie of the Year moment, you know, like Heisman moment type of thing, which sucks. But dude, I'm just not that infatuated by it. Leave baseball out on the diamond. That's what they call it. Leave the baseball out on the fucking diamond.
There you go. Get it right. But anyway, so before we break it down and get into our roundtable, Zach, thanks for listening to me tonight. Like we said, you know, I sound like shit.
Dude, we slated tonight. We didn't even have time to make our bowl picks, so we'll have to make those offline and
actually, I was gonna say we're coming up on an hour, and that's where we usually try to keep it. And it's like, yeah, okay,
that's gonna take way too long.
We'll get those. We'll make sure that we submit those, so we're held in stone for those. But yeah, Zach, anything for your roundtable segment that's just steaming you? Last time, you know, there was a few things that you talked about. Anything on the mind that we didn't cover that you just want to touch on?
I don't think I've got anything specific that I want to touch on. I think I heard the F1. I don't know if we have any F1 listeners, but I heard there was some drama that went down in the last race this past weekend about Mercedes and Honda or so. Like, I
feel
literally
like every week there's something.
Yeah, dude. I don't know anything about it. I got a buddy that knows about it, and I ask him like every Monday morning. I'm like, yo, what's the latest? What's going on with this shit? He said there was some drama. I guess Mercedes feels like they got cheated, and I don't care. Basically, is my roundtable is Mercedes. If you're a Mercedes fan and you're passionate about it, like, I mean, get over it. You've won like the last. I think they've won like the last a million years in a row. So,
what more can you ask for? I guess
it's like the Yankees
for
crying when they win the World Series, or when they lose the World Series. It's like you have
my roundtable. It's not so much roundtable. We already talked about it, but here's what I got. I'm just saying Michigan controls the game against Georgia. They squeak one out, and somehow Cincinnati comes out swinging. They beat Alabama, and you're gonna have your typical Ohio versus Michigan national championship. Exactly what you want. And I'm gonna say, Cincinnati. This is Cincinnati's year. They're gonna win the national championship. And then Luke Fickell's going to end up with Ohio State next year. So that's where I'm at.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
I'd be the Sudafed talking, but I mean, I'm good with it.
Dude, I love the effects of Sudafed. Anyways, I hope that's what happens. I will be 100% honest with you and tell me in my bowl picks, I picked Georgia and Alabama both to win. I just think that's where the odds lie. But I agree. I think Michigan could put up a fight. I think it all depends on how well Georgia could stop the run. Obviously, if Michigan don't run at number 99.
We said they can control. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I watched the Michigan game, the Big Ten championship, and between that game and Ohio State, Michigan is literally opening up the playbook and running everything that I've never seen before in my life, and they're looking good running it.
Dude, this is what I was saying.
They're a totally different team.
Okay, this is what I was saying halfway through the year. And I think I even mentioned it on episode 1 that Michigan is better than people think they were because they played the first half of the season with like 3
Very
bullets.
vanilla.
3 bullets in their revolver. They had 3 more bullets in their empty chambers that they didn't even reveal to the world yet. They've got this. I don't know if you know. Like I guess I should say this because I shouldn't assume that everyone's a Michigan watcher. They've got 2 quarterbacks. McNamara, who plays most of the time and manages the game. They got McCarthy, who's a freshman, can throw the rock like it's nothing. And like I think Michigan has so many weapons that they just don't want people to know about. And they just went without the first half of the season without using them. So, but the problem is Georgia is so good at defense. I have no idea if Michigan's going to be successful or not. Dude, if you think Luke Fickell's going to Ohio State, where's Ryan Day going?
The Bears, unfortunately.
You think he's going to the NFL?
I don't know, man. I just Fields, Nagy out. I think they're going to definitely make a hard push for him. I'm not saying necessarily he's going to do it, and maybe he's going to look at Urban and say, "You're crazy. I'm not doing this." But the writing's on the wall. For some reason, this Michigan loss to Ohio State just shook up Ohio State, which I don't know why. I mean, it's one time in the past 10 years, essentially. I mean, like, who cares? But yeah. I don't know. You got recruits. Oh, shit, we didn't even talk about the transfer portal. My God. Anyways, we'll talk about it.
Bring that up too. God,
we'll talk about it next week. I mean, I'll give you my 2 cents real quick. The transfer portal's a cop out, but we'll talk about that next week. But before we move on, we're gonna do one. The reason I want to do this is one bowl pick. Middle Tennessee State, Toledo. What was it? 10.5. 10.5 spread. 50-point over or under. The reason I'm asking you this, who you got? Toledo. That's my college. Who you got?
Yeah, so I didn't pick against the spread. I just picked straight up. I went with Toledo on that one.
I say, okay, that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm looking at this list. And granted, we're not gonna cover all these. We got Coastal Carolina, NIU, Western Kentucky, Appalachian State. There's some decent games, but then you get down to like San Diego State.
Did you pick your winners? We could just run through winners real quick.
Yeah, I can pick if you want to pick them straight up. We got NIU versus Coastal Carolina. Who you got?
I got NIU.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Western Kentucky, App State.
Taking App State.
I got that. UTEP, Fresno.
I took Fresno.
Man, why are we on the same wave?
You took
UAB,
Fresno as well?
BYU. This is like unranked versus the 13.
Yeah,
Give
I'm
me a
going
break.
BYU on that.
Yes, the same. EMU, Liberty. Little excitement around Liberty.
I took hometown Eastern Michigan on that one.
I took Liberty. Okay, that's where we're at. I figured. Utah State, Oregon State.
I took Utah State in that one.
Really?
Upset.
Okay.
I think Oregon State's favored by like 7.5.
Maybe your most excitement. Yeah, 7.5, 67 over under. Marshall versus Louisiana Lafayette.
Dude, that one I had to think on that one for a minute, to be honest, and I took Louisiana Lafayette in the end.
I took Marshall. I did. Okay.
Randy Moss.
And then obviously these betting lines that were current as today, obviously December 16th. They were, I think, around 2:30. Old Dominion, Tulsa.
I took Tulsa in that.
I did too. Kent State, Wyoming.
I took Kent State to upset Wyoming. I don't know why Wyoming's favored.
Actually, on the plane, I watched the MAC championship, and Kent State was playing, and so I'm definitely
as well?
Wyoming there. I took Wyoming there after watching that shit. San Diego State, UTSA.
This one also took me a long time. Like, I looked at these teams, dude. UTSA is who I.
Yeah, it's only 1 point. I mean, there's only a 1 point differential.
I had UTSA. Who'd you have?
Who'd you end up taking?
UTSA.
Ah, did you? I took San Diego State.
Okay.
Missouri Army. Oh man, it's one of those things. I feel like Mizzou's always got like something to say, but then when you root for them, they just really suck. So I'm on Army too. Then we got the last two: North Texas, Miami, Ohio.
I don't think you're gonna like this, but I took North Texas.
Really, I was kind of leaning that way. I'm gonna go with Miami, Ohio. It's a 3-point spread, 54.5 over under. So we'll see. And then this one, I love this game here: UCF versus Florida.
Yeah, so this is the best one to like finish out our week, honestly, because like this is when we'll record next, is the 23rd, so that's why we're ending here.
Yep.
I picked UCF to upset this game.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like there was so much hype around Florida, as there has been the past couple of years, and they quickly fell out of range. And then one of their guys jumped in the transfer portal. He was supposed to be like the next big thing. Who gives a shit? So because of all that, like, I really want UCF to win, but I feel like Florida is going to win.
Yeah.
Just to screw things up.
I love that they put these two teams together, though, and I love that it's in Florida. Like that.
Yeah, I know.
I like going to be packed.
You talk about selling out a stadium. Great opportunity. It's 6.5, 55.5 over under. So it'll be. I think the over under you'll nail the over there. But in general, we'll see. I still got Florida, but either way, that's where we'll end. We'll talk about that obviously next week when we're on. So at that point, but Zach, before we get out of here, you got anything to add, man?
No, man. It's been a great show. Obviously, just to let everyone know, we'll be back here next week for episode 3. Get into the rest of the bull picks, and
it's got to be a special one because it's season 3, episode 3. So
yeah, and it's 2 days before Christmas, but we'll be in Christmas spirit.
Yes. Anyways, so we'll see. Obviously, it's Zach Mack at mbrown0h21. We are your two hosts, Mike Brown, Zach Mack here. We appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, and we will see you next week. Like Zach said, before the holiday. Well, I guess not before the holidays, before Christmas. So we'll see you guys right before Christmas. You guys have a good night.
Fuck the Blackhawks.